Good morning, my young, powerful people.
Good morning.
I'm going to let y'all know, all right? I'm going to keep it 100% with you. All right? The reason that I'm going to keep it 100%, not to say that when I go out to speak, I'll be faking it. But as I look around this room, I see everybody in here that looks like me. What does that mean? Black like me. All right? As I look around, I see everybody that looks like me, and that tells me that your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, your great-great-grandparents, your great-great-great-great-great-grandparents, and even further back have come through the struggle. And that means that some of us are still going through the struggle. And not just going through the struggle, but some of us are in the midst of the struggle and trying to get out of the struggle. But I'm going to let you all know that as you, the up-and-coming new generation, that's what you are, the up-and-coming new generation, that one day you will be controlling Tampa, Florida. You'll be controlling Florida, the state. You might even be controlling other states, other cities. But all you have to do, like I said, or should I say like I saw while I was setting up my camera, I saw that time is moving. And in the midst of time moving, young, powerful people, you stay focused. You stay focused on the mission at hand. This is a Bible school, correct? So that means that you are taught, yes, academics, but you are also taught about our Savior, Jesus Christ. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, so there's no shying away from that, because that's real. When you talk about being the realist, he's the realist. Let me take you on a trip. Can I take y'all on a trip? I'm going to take you on a trip, and you won't even have to sip. You don't have to pull out a whip. You don't have to worry about anything in your mind where I'm getting ready to take you, because when I finish what I'm saying, you will definitely find that the world is yours. All you got to do is get the mind right, and you be what? Doing your thing for life. Y'all with me?
Yes.
True that. All right? Let's keep it 100. Usually people, when I throw some bars, they say, wow, that old man, he a star because he can throw them bars, but he know who he are. He is a one-hit superstar. Let's keep it 100 up in this camp. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Amen. So, who am I? I told you my name is Donald L. Dowridge Jr. Junior. We are getting ready to walk into, we're getting ready to travel into, and we're getting ready to cruise into what is known as a holiday. The name of the holiday that we're all getting ready to walk into is no other than Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
Believe it or not, yours truly standing before you this morning, I was born on Thanksgiving. No, I was not born November the 25th, which Thanksgiving is on this year. I was born November the 28th.
Oh, okay.
Which is coming week after, or should I say 4 days after, or should I say 3 days after Thanksgiving, which appears on a Sunday. I give all praise and glory to God that that Sunday, November the 28th, I will be a remarkable, healthy, mind-focused, mindset, 65 years old. And usually when I throw my age out there, people don't believe it. But if I tell you, which I'm going to tell you, some of what I come through, a lot of people don't believe it. They think I was born with a golden spoon in my mouth. They say, wow, you look so. Well, I'm going to tell you how, and hopefully somebody up in here will get the message, and when you grow, you will take something from it, because it will definitely help you be the superstar that you want to be in your little lifetime. said, I was born November the 28th, Thanksgiving Day. My team lost last night, the Baltimore. I'll say it again, Baltimore. All right, that's where I was born at, Baltimore. All right, but my team is also the Ravens. And I sat there the whole game with my face like this. Because we were losing. My young, powerful people, upon my birth, unfortunately, my two sisters and I, we were left on a street corner as little babies at the hands of a man who walked into my mother's life. While my dad at the time was 19 years old, he was still a teenager. He was in his last year, if you will, of being a teenager. He was locked up in Baltimore City Jail. While he was locked up, my mother, during her Saturday grocery shopping, was approached by a young man. The young man took a liking to my mother. Eventually, somewhere along the road, he convinced my mother to give us away or leave us. And she walked away from us on a street corner. I wound up in 5 treacherous foster homes. 5 treacherous foster homes. Treacherous foster homes, that means that, since we're in Bible, coming home from school one day, or should I say coming home from church one day, going upstairs to the second floor where the adults were having a conversation, I interrupted them by saying, "Excuse me." No, I didn't go up and interrupt them by, "Yo, hey, I need to talk to y'all, hey." No. I walked up and I said, "Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me." And in the midst of me saying, "Excuse me," David, who was a grown lunatic, turned around, put his foot in my chest right here, and kicked me. And I tumbled down the steps, fell down the steps. I cried going down the steps when my head hit the back of the wall. How old was I? Oh, maybe about 6. David's sister, Jean, came up one Sunday morning, threw me out the bed, threw all my mattresses on the floor, took the sheets off the bed, and commenced to tying the sheets around my neck. We were on the 3rd floor. She was commending to hang me out the window. Now, if you know history, history tells us that black men back in the days were hung by KKK, Ku Klux Klan. This foster family that I was with were not white. They were not members of the KKK. They were black. Black like you and me. Also in this second foster home, David, he did whatever he wanted to do to me. Yes. David also told me that I was nobody, that I'm not going to be anybody. He used to draw pictures of me. Me with a big, gigantic head and nobody. That's what he would tell me. Apparently, eventually, the social service, they would wind up moving me to another foster home, which was okay. But then when I got to my 4th foster home, that was terrorization to the 5th power. In this 4th foster home, I was made to eat dog food. Dog food for 9 straight months. I was forbidden to eat human food. Sometimes they would come out with the German Shepherd and they would put hot sauce in the food, and I would eat that hot sauce. Mr. Dowridge, what book are you talking about? You read this in the book? What movie is this? This is my life. This is my life on steroids. This is my life on Red Bull. This is my life. On Bang, B-A-N-G. The same foster home, the fourth one, on North Stroder Street. One day in the fourth grade, anybody here in the fourth grade? One day in the fourth grade, and I will be honest, ma'am, I know for a fact that you do not have in this classroom none of your students who are class clowns. I know this. They're all good students. Matter of fact, I know that each one of these students are A students. I know this for a fact. Even though they say, no, man, you got us wrong, man, no. I even heard somebody else say, no, I'm a D student because my name starts with a D. No, I ain't gonna take that. I ain't gonna take that. But anyway, hold on. Anyway, in the fourth grade, because I was the class clown, I will be honest with you. As a matter of fact, ma'am, I started acting out in class when I was in the first grade. Let me just skip school real quick.
Wow.
You all might be too young to know, but ma'am, I know you are familiar. As a matter of fact, I travel portraying this person sometimes. Ed Sullivan Show, remember Ed Sullivan Show? Ed Sullivan Show had this singer on one time. And he says, ladies and gentlemen, and he used to stand like this, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest today. Let's put a round of applause for James Brown. And when James Brown walked down and he started doing his dance and his hair was flaring everywhere, I said, wow, I want to be like him when I grow up. Again, 7 years old or 6. So in the first grade, when my teacher, Miss Gutty, would leave the classroom, I would come up from the back of the classroom and start dancing like James Brown. Ow! I feel good. I knew that I would. So one day, Miss Gutty came in, and all the students were watching me perform for them. I didn't see her coming in. She came in, and I was sliding across the floor like this. James Brown at the time, I heard, was in Japan performing. And he was getting ready to hit that note. Ow! He didn't have to hit that note because when Miss Gutty tagged this Bizarre back here, I hit the note for her. Wham! Ow! James stopped and he said, wait a minute. What's going on here? I'm supposed to be saying that. I got left back many a times in school. They used to write, the teachers used to write on the bottom of my report card, something is wrong with this kid. Sometimes they would pass me along just to get rid of me. So anyway, going back to the fourth grade, this particular day, I wanted to be a good student. So I sat in the front of the classroom. Yeah, I grabbed a seat right in the front. Well, behind me, there was another kid. Teacher writing on the board. Teacher turns around, and the kid behind me had his hand up. The teacher assumed that the kid was going to answer the question. What's the answer, he said. So the kid said, can you tell this big-head boy to move out the way? Because he's blocking the board with his block head. So I turned around, and I hit him in the eye like this. The young man that was sitting way in the back, he was the biological son of the foster father. You know what he did? He ran home and he snitched on me. He ran home and snitched on me.
Wow.
When I got home, the foster father told me to take my behind upstairs. I'll teach you about fighting in school, he says. So I go upstairs and he said, take them clothes off. Now, I don't know about y'all nowadays. Nowadays, you know, back then when we come home from school, we had to take off our school clothes and put on our play clothes. The way I understand it now, kids nowadays, they go home and play in their clothes, or the parents tell them to take them off. They're like, you tripping, woman. So, you know, that's a whole different generation now, you know, because y'all get that freedom nowadays. You see what I'm saying? Y'all must have been part of that 280,000 people that were on the Washington Mall listening to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. when he said, free at last, thank God Almighty, we're free at last. So y'all took it to the next level. So when the foster father came upstairs, I'm standing there with my little underwear on and my little t-shirt on, and when he came up and grabbed me, he put me up on the wall. And as I fell off the wall, he commenced to hit me in my forehead. He didn't do it one time, he did it 5 times. As a matter of fact, if you squint your eyes, you'll see my forehead. I still have the marks up here.
Wow.
I still have the marks up here. For when he commenced to beat me in my face with his fist. And when he broke the skin, quite naturally, bleeding, he took some alcohol and he rubbed it on my forehead.
Bruh. Oh, yeah.
In this foster home, I was locked in the closet. In this foster home, they would send me to school sometimes with the same underclothes on. Matter of fact, I gained the nickname Funky Boy. Yes. I ran away from home to the social service, begging for them to move me from this foster home. Well, my social worker back then, she put me in the car and she took me right back to that home. And she left me. And they commenced to beat me again. But eventually, they would move me from this foster home and I would go to my 5th foster home. I'll never forget, it was Sunday. We were having Sunday dinner. I was sitting at the end of the table right here. While the father said the grace, I was looking down on the floor. I was looking down on the floor, not saying grace, but I was looking for my food. I was looking for my food in the pail because I was so used, so trained, so mindful that the only food I was allowed to have was dog food. And the mother of the house, she came up and she put her arms around me and she hugged me. Keep in mind, I'm probably 10, 11 years old. Going on 12. She comes and she hugs me. And while she hugging me, she squeezed me. I start crying. Yeah, I started crying. Boo-hoo-hoo. And she said, baby, it's okay. It's okay. What's wrong? I ain't say nothing. How many of y'all ever had that moment where you crying and somebody come up and hug you and say, what's wrong? And you don't say anything, you just wailing. And watch this, when they hug you, you even start crying even more. How many of y'all have that? You already crying. And then all of a sudden when they come and hug you, you kicking in motion. Flour coming out your mouth, all right? Your mouth, your nose is draining. Yeah, you got teeth. I mean, you full of water. Matter of fact, if anybody on the street wanted some water, they just come to your face. Can I get some water, please?
It's nasty.
Yeah. Well, anyway, she kind of figured out what was going on with me, and she told everybody to fill my plate up with food.
Wow.
Well, I was still scared because, I thought it was a setup. Yeah, they want me to eat this food so they can beat me. That's what they want me to do. I ain't gonna touch that food, I said to myself. But all of a sudden, guess what? The scent, the aroma from the food was going up in my nostrils. Oh snap, I started jonesing, y'all. I'm trying to fight the feeling. I'm fighting it. I ain't gonna touch it. Oh no, I won't touch it, but it's steady going up. Oh no, I'm not gonna touch it because they're gonna beat me. Well, guess what? I gave in. And guess what I did? Matter of fact, I didn't pick up the fork. Ma'am, I just went in. And the lady said, slow down. Use the fork. How many of y'all got a dog? Anybody got a dog? How many of you all feed your dog and you try to take the food from him? What did the dog do? And believe it or not, I'm 65 years old. I'll be 65. And anybody touch my food while I'm eating,
Well, that was the mindset you had, so I could understand. You have that mindset.
why today, you know what? I do not waste food, even though he's banging on your arm, and I hope he stops. Right on, my brother. To this day, I do not waste food. I got food in my refrigerator that I was not unable to eat, right, 2, 3, 4 weeks ago. But I'm working on it. That's right. And before it's all said and done, I'm going to have all that food eaten. Because I do not waste. I do not waste food. Sorry, y'all. I just had a moment there. Right? Sorry. I might have another. I'm sorry. I had another moment there. Forgive me. Who's bad? I'm sorry. Ma'am, I'm sorry. I need to act my age. I'm 65 years old.
You okay?
Sorry. At 65, I shouldn't be acting like that. I should be at 65. I said, what you say? What you say, honey? Moonwalk. Well, hold on. As soon as they give me my spacesuit, I will get in the ship and go up to the moon, and I will moonwalk. Okay?
Wait, you work for
My young brother, I do not work for NASA, but I will get to who I work for eventually. Alright? But let me finish telling you. So anyway, one day the phone rang. The phone rang and it was social service. The mother came to me and she said, little Donald, I got some good news for you. And I'm like, what? You're going home with your father. My father, she said. I said, yeah, your daddy. My daddy? Who is my daddy? Your daddy is Donald L. Doward Sr. He's coming to get you to take you home. Where's home, I asked. The South Bronx. Where's the South Bronx at? Anybody ever been to New York in here?
No.
Anybody ever heard of the South Bronx? How many of you all listen to rap?
No, I do.
Anybody here listen to rap music? Well, that's where rap music was created at, in the South Bronx. Alright? Well, I found myself traveling to New York City with my biological father, Donald L. Doward Sr. Well, believe it or not, at 12 years old to the age of 17 years old, my biological father, Donald L. Doward Sr., for those years, it was like living in the Terror Dome. Allow me, may I be real with these youngins? Okay? Allow me to share real quick what my daddy, my father, my pops did to me. One, two. These are knife wounds that he put on me. Knife wounds where he stabbed me.
What?
I found myself in prison in a place called Rikers Island, prison for men. At the age of 13 years old, that's where I was. When they released me, or should I say they sent me to a reformatory school, upstate New York. When they released me, I came back to the South Bronx. I didn't mention to you one of the reasons that they put me away because I was not getting the love that I thought I deserved at the house, so I went out in the streets and I joined a gang. And I became a gangbanger. My name was June Bug. Junior, they just called me June Bug. My young, powerful people, let me share with you. Even the gang that I was in, they did not want me in the gang because they kept saying, something wrong with you, man. Why are you so crazy? Why you do things that you do? What's up? I was doing outlandish things that I don't even think I could share with you. It's a wonder that I'm still living. I became a young drug addict. I became a young alcoholic. Not only that, I was smoking cigarettes. Not only that, I began abusing people. I began fighting. I didn't care. I had an I don't care attitude. School, in the 6th grade, I hit a teacher in the mouth and broke his tooth. In the 7th grade, I'm not bragging, but in the 7th grade, I paralyzed the teacher.
Paralyzed.
12th grade at Hillsborough High School here in Tampa, when I came to Tampa to get away from the South Bronx. I walked in the dean's office with my finger and put my finger to his head, and I told him, I hate you. I'll blow your brains out when I see you. And I walked away from school. I didn't see an A on my report card until I got to the 10th grade. Suicide. Before I turned 21, I tried to commit suicide at least almost 21 times because I didn't want to live anymore. I just wanted to die because I didn't have love. I didn't know about, at that time, at that age, I didn't know about loving myself. I wanted love, and a lot of you all are guilty because a lot of you all want love from the outside and not seeing that you have all the love inside. One thing I didn't realize at your young, powerful age, that when I was born on November the 28th, the world stopped and gave me a standing ovation because I was coming in this world with gifts and talents that God had put inside of me prior to my birth. But because of what I was going through as a human being, as a child, I had no knowledge of how great I was. Each one of you all, as a matter of fact, everybody in here, on the day you were born, the world stopped and gave each one of you all a standing ovation. Because believe it or not, if you don't know it yet, my young, powerful people, you were born with gifts and talents. You come to school every day because of the fact that, guess what? The teachers are trying to mold you and groom you and build you so that when it's all said and done, not to say that when you walk across the stage, you'll get your high school diploma, that's the end of your education. Oh, heck no. That is the beginning of your knowledge. You might move away from, just for somebody over there, ma'am, that wanted me to do it, you might moonwalk from education. But then knowledge begins to kick in.
That's right.
Knowledge takes over. Before I left my dad's presence at the age of 17, my dad put me in a headlock. And when he put me in a headlock, he had a fork. And he commenced to stabbing me in my head with that fork. As a matter of fact, I was 17 years old. I said I'll be 65. Every morning I wake up, to this day, every morning I wake up, I have to split my hair to put medicine in my hair, on my scalp. Because if I don't put the medicine on every day, my scalp begins to swell. I've been to the doctor endlessly about this and it just won't go away. So that mark right there that's on my head, it reminds me of the man who was supposed to be my daddy. My daddy never called me Junior. He never said I love you. He never said I got your back. My daddy had one name for me. What was that name? I'm going to say it. Nigga.
Oh!
That's the only name he had for me. And believe me, one time I was laying in my bed. Oh, I'm sorry. I told a fib. I didn't have a bed, ma'am. I was laying on my cot, C-O-T, that I had to fold up every day and put it in the closet. He kept calling me nigger, and I said, if he called me that one more time, I'm going to kill him. So on the 5th time, he called me nigger. And I got up, and I slow-mowed. I slow-mowed to the kitchen. And I pulled over that top drawer. And I went, I wasn't looking for the little teeny knife, no. I was not looking for the teeny weeny knife. killed you, nigga. And I ran. That ain't funny. That's not I went at him and I started going at him like this, but he got away. He got away from me. And he ran outside and I was standing at the top of the stairwell. And he was down there. And he said, I'm coming back to kill you, nigga. I took the knife and I threw it at him. He moved like Bruce Lee. Whoop. I said, turn up this time.
Yep, should have recorded it.
My grandmother, my great-grandmother, who I owe my life to. Some of you all may not know what I'm about to say. Ma'am, you might know. You might know. My grandmother was a starch, strong Christian lady. She was a Pentecostal. She was a Pentecostal. She spoke in tongues. As a matter of fact, one day I was out getting high. Yeah, I was getting high with my friend. And I came in the house and she was sitting there on the couch. What she always do with a Bible right here, reading the Bible. And I walked in high as I don't know what, and she looked at me and she started speaking in tongues. The devil inside of me said, oh no, I ain't going up in there. The devil ran out. I was mad. I said, she done spoke in tongue and ran up in my highway. And she said, baby, Jesus don't like you out there getting high. I'll never forget. One night, Friday night, April the 26th, 1974, 17 years old, my grandmother and I, we was watching